Hello and welcome to this crocheted belt bag heart shape tutorial. In front of you, you'll see the heart shape backing that we will be doing for this video. If you choose to stay with me and continue on with part 2, we will be doing the Grafgan heart shape for the front of the bag. You can make either 2 of the crocheted heart shapes and add belt straps to one of them, or you can join me for this video and a second video. Either way, let's begin.
The materials and tools that we will be using to make this heart-shaped belt bag, first I have here is a size G7 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. This has got a bamboo handle, a pair of scissors, and the yarns I'm using today are from Michaels, the Impeccable brand, loops and thread, and this color is lippy, kind of like a rose color, and its other name is Rose Bonbon. From the Impeccable Brights collection, Red Hot, the Impeccable in the color Soft Taupe. So I like to show you before we begin, I usually pull my yarn from the center of a skein, and to try and help make it a little bit easier, you go into the center of your skein and you open it. Okay, and then you stick your finger in there and try to find what looks like it could be the beginning. Oh, and I see it right here. If not, then you have to pull out all this yarn and figure out which one is which. Then, after we do that, go ahead and pull sometimes up to, oh, what's this? Looks like I have a double. It might be the, yes, the end piece right here. So it might be, we had a tied knot and everything else like that. So what I like to do, and encourage you to do this as you crochet along, pull out about 5 or 10 feet and just put it in a pile right there next to you if you're at your table. And the reason why is because you can have this yarn not being pulled from the center of your skein, and that way you can maintain the proper tension that you'll need for the stitching as we put this together. So let's get started. So to begin, we're going to place a slip knot on our hook, and on that first one you don't want it very tight, you just want it so you have a little bit of opening. We're going to be placing a number of stitches in this first loop. After that, we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. And into this first chain, we're going to place 4 double crochets. Now when I do it, I like to pick up 2 parts of that chain and just have the one part on the single side. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Let's do that 3 more times. There's 2, 3, and 4. Let's move on to our next row. Chain 3, and then turn your work. Now, what I'm going to be showing you is what we're going to be doing for the next 10 rows So what we'll do here, I'll show you how to do it twice. After you chain, you see this little hump right here? It's on the outside of your stitch, so it's right here on that little hump. We're going to place 1 double crochet. Okay, so you see how I have just that 1 loop, and I picked up 2 parts of that chain there. Alright, now into the back loop, we're going to place 1 half double crochet. Okay, so we have 1 and half double crochet in the next, 2, 3, and 4. We're not done with our row yet. Now in this chain 3, in this top part of the chain 3, you want to pick up the 2 parts of the chain. We're going to place 2 double crochets in this stitch. And what we've done is we have added these stitches to our row. Now I want to show you how you're going to count your row. You include the chain stitch as if it was a double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 4 half double crochets cover those stitches from here, and the increase is the chain 3 and the double crochet and the 2 double crochets on the end that are in the chain 3. This will help form the shape, the bottom part of the heart that we're looking for. Okay, so let's do the next row. Chain 3 and turn your work again. And now here's the hump right here. You see the hump? And here's the first stitch. But we're going to pick up that hump and place a double crochet. Alright, half double crochet. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we're going to place 7 half double crochets across. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Alright, and in the top of the chain 3 we're placing our 2 double crochets. There's 1 double crochet and 2. And I will confess, I've been playing with this heart for the last 2 weeks trying to get it just right. And I hope I have it. I found it to be the easiest to do what I've just showed you in these last 2 rows to give the shape that we need. Let me show you one that I have that's already half done. So this is what we're trying to achieve. Alright, so let's move on to the next row, and since I've shown you the first row and the second row, I want to remind you this is your repeat. Now another thing too, as you count each row, you will not have an even number every single time. Sometimes you'll have an odd number and sometimes you'll have an even number. And I've noticed that even though we have the chain 3 and we count this, it seems like it increases by 3 stitches per row. So anyway, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright? So on this next row, we should have 14 stitches. 1, 2, 3 is our chain 3 for our turn. Let's go ahead and we're going to place our double crochet here in our little loop here behind the chain. Half double crochet across, and when you get to that after that last stitch, you're going to put 2 double crochets in the top of that chain. So let's go ahead and do that, and then you're going to repeat this until you have a total of 35 stitches across. And remember, the chain 3 counts as the first stitch or the first double crochet. And if you also notice that we only place double crochets at the end, so at the first stitch and in the last 2 are the only stitches of our row that gets the double crochet. Okay, so here we are. Here's our last double crochet. So that gets a half double. Now our last 2 stitches get the double crochet. Alright, and then we will chain 3 and turn. Okay, so before we move on, I wanted to show you, keep on going, increasing on each side until you have 35. Notice how I will count my chain, count them across until I have 35. When you get to that point, we will do something different. So go ahead and pause your video, and when you get to that row, I'll meet you there. After you have completed your 35 stitches across, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. Now, we're not going to go into the chain loop in the back. We're going to go into the first stitch and place a half double crochet. You will do 35 half double crochets across this row. When you get to the other end, we're going to chain 2 and turn and repeat. We will do this for a total of 9 rows. Go ahead and do that. Pause your video and I'll meet you there. After we've completed these straight rows, we're going to go ahead and start our decrease. So chain 2 and turn your work. Now we're going to be doing this for a few rows, but to start, this first stitch right here, we're going to skip that one. So let's make a half double crochet into the next stitch and continue half double crochet across till you get towards the end of the row. When you get to the last few stitches at the end of the row, stop and restart your video. So for right now, pause your video. So the amount of half double crochets that I placed here so far was 32. Now to finish this row, we're going to skip this one right here, and we're going to place a half double crochet into the last stitch. What that's going to do is it's going to pull it over, and that stitch will not look like it has a stitch. Let's chain 2, turn our work. Can you see it start to pull in already? Alright, let's do this row again. Go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you for the beginning of the next row. So before moving on, I wanted to let you know that we have 30 half double crochets here. We're going to skip that last stitch, or skip the stitch to the last, and in the last stitch we'll do our last half double crochet. Chain 2 and turn. Remember that these rows that we're doing now are decrease rows. You can see how our heart is starting to curve in. So let's do this for 2 more rows, and then we'll start to do the top half, which we will only do half at one time. So 2 more rows of the decrease, and then we'll start the shaping. For this row, I have counted over 14, I believe it was 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, and from this end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so right here we have 14 and 14. So this one right here, or this, is our center. Alright? So to make it a little easier, let's pull out this one. There we go. So here's the center. So what we're going to do this time is when we go across, we're going to stop right here, chain 2, and then go back. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to skip our first one, half double crochet in the next one, and continue up to your marker. Remember, we're all doing half double crochets here. And if you think that the bag is a little big or looks a little different, the idea is to be able to fit your cell phone. Now, I'm going to bring my cell phone down. Remember, I use it to videotape my with my GoPro. So that's what you see on here is my GoPro. But I wanted it big enough because I have a large cell phone. You'll see my lights up here too. So I wanted it to be big enough, and then that way we can also pinch it here. So this is the reason why it is the size and shape that it is, and it'll be nice for you to also stick a small wallet. You can place your keys right down here in this area. So everything will fit inside this belt bag. Super nice. Isn't that funny how the optical looks? I love it. Anyway, so I have to add a little bit of my technical stuff in here. So let's keep on going. We're almost there. Also, when you do this, make sure you count your stitches to be sure that you have the 14 across, or if you're making yours smaller, that you have the same number on each side. So let's do that. I'm going to count the chain because on the other side we'll have the chain. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright, so we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Okay, remember we're stopping in the half part. Turn our work and skip this first one. And we're going to do our half doubles across again. Okay, go ahead and do that. I'll meet you at the end of the row. Now I see how mine is starting to curve, so I'm going to do one more row to see how it looks, to give it that like ability that I want. And then I will probably stop after this row. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll come to a decision of what we choose to do. Okay, so for me it looks a little flat. So let's turn it over. We're going to do one more row, but we're going to do something just a little bit different. Okay, so skip your first one. In your second one, half double crochet. In your third one, half double crochet. And now for the next 2, 3 stitches, we'll do double crochets. That'll give a little bit of height. So I'm going to do 3. Okay, and then I'm going to do a half double crochet. See, it gives a little bit of curvature here. And then a half double crochet in that last one after you skip. So that I think that looks nice. What do you think? Okay, so let me give you a full picture of what my little heart looks like. Let me enlarge the screen. I guess I'm going all out on this screen size here, huh? Alright, so here we have our curvature of our heart. And I'm thinking that looks pretty good because once we put the sides on and sew it up, I think it'll look just fine. So let's go ahead and cut our yarn and pull it through. And now because we stopped going backwards, let's go ahead and flip it over, and our first stitch will be right here. So I'm going to show you how to do a standing half double crochet. Let me bring my camera in for you. So let's go ahead and place a slip knot on our hook. Tighten it up. Now with your finger on your loop, yarn over. Okay, make sure your loop don't turn. Now in that same hole, bring up a loop. Keep your finger close by there. Now I have my thumb holding that knot down. So let's go ahead and bring the yarn through, and you've created one standing half double crochet. Okay, so we're going to bring our tail over. I have it behind me. And we're going to go ahead and do a half double crochet across. Now my tail is behind, so I'm bringing it in with my stitching. Okay, until we get to the end of this row. Now remember, we're going to skip the second to last stitch. Okay, I think my tail is a little bit too long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. Alright, I got one more here to make. Okay, I'm going to skip this one, and in that last one, I'm going to place my half double crochet. Chain 2. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing that we did here, so we're going to do this row, and then remember on this row how you did the 2, and then the 3 double crochets, and then the 1 half double crochet, and you finish it off. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll tell you what to do next. So before we move on to our front piece, let's go ahead and add our straps for our back. Going to place a slip knot on, and we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This will be long enough to sew it down and then insert a belt through it. Okay, going to skip the first one, so in the next 9 we're going to place a half double crochet per stitch. When you get to the end, you'll chain 2 and turn and place 9 half double crochets again. You'll do this for 4 rows so that you have a nice solid strap on the back. And we will make 2 of them. So here I am almost at the end of the row. Let's show you so you can get a visual. Chain 2, turn your work, and 9 half double crochets across. Continue on for 4 rows. It will be kind of wide, but for the size of this and for the sturdiness, we want it to be wide so that the belt will hold it. Go ahead and make 2 of those, and I'll show you how to sew them on. So here is the 2 straps, and the line of where we've started the straight is where the bottoms need to go, and you want it like in the center here. So I'm going to place this one here and this one here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and take my yarn and place it in my needle. And I'm going to go ahead and sew it on using just a basic whip stitch. Okay, so do that for this here and here, here, and here, making sure to leave those open. So this is the back with our little belt loop straps holders on it. If you wish to make a solid front, I ask that you go back to the beginning of the video and make another one of these. If you wish to do the grid with me, I'm going to make that in a separate video, and I will also show you how to finish that as well. So this is the end of the part 1. If you wish, like I said, if you want the same one in the front to be solid, just go ahead and make another one of these, and at the end of the second video I'll show you how to finish it together. So till then, I don't want to say goodbye, but I want to say let's continue on, but I'm going to make it in a second video. This graph took me some time, and I will be honest, I made another one here, but because the numbers on the graph that I did turned up odd, and if you notice when you do your graphghans, none of them line up straight on top of each other. They're always off to one side or another. So this is the reason why I found a graph paper where the colors are off. So everything is identical from side to side, and we will do what we need to do, and we will have the same numbers as we have in this one. I hope to see you in the second video so that we can finish this belt bag. I'm really excited about it. Hope to see you then. On to the second video.